Well, we're in the thick of NFL training camps, and in the AFC East, the Bills remain the benchmark. But every camp has questions, from defensive shakeups in Miami and Buffalo to quarterback questions in New England and New York. The division race is anything but settled. And time now to welcome in Kyle Long and Ryan Wilson here to help us break it all down. Fellas, good to see you. Let's start with the class of the division, the Bills. Well, they enter his camp as overwhelming favorites to win the AFC East again, but all eyes are on their revamped defense and young talent taking shape. So, Kyle, who are the names this preseason that we need to watch in Buffalo?
Hey, look, Katie, surprise, surprise. I'm going to talk to you about offense, and it's tight end Dalton Kincaid. As we've seen from a lot of these great football teams in the past few years, you have to have a tight end. And what's even better than that, having two tight ends. They've got two, but it's Dalton Kincaid and his ability to recapture that greatness that we've seen flashes of. Look, health has been an issue. We'd like to see number 86 go out there for Josh Allen and really be the Robin out there on the second level for this passing game. And if it's not Dalton Kincaid, we've seen this Bills team be able to go out there and perform. But imagine how much better, how much smoother this offense goes with Dalton Kincaid out there looking 100% and this Bills offense rolling.
Hey, Katie. Hey, Kyle. I'm going to give you another K. Keon Coleman, and we'll stay on the offense. It's interesting because the Bills spent a lot of time focused on defense during the draft, especially the early round draft picks, in part because of some guy named Josh Allen, in part because of some guy Kyle just talked about and Dalton Kincaid. But Keon Coleman's going into year two. He's just 22 years old. He's been having, by all accounts, a great training camp thus far. The issue with Keon is that he's not going to be Steph Diggs as a downfield separator. He's a big body target who catches everything you throw his way. Played at Florida State. Before that, he was at Michigan State. And he can do a little bit of everything. I think as he continues to grow in this offense, and that he's not asked to do everything, because as Kyle points out, Dalton Kincaid can shoulder some of that load. James Cook can shoulder some of that load. I think this offense is going to be absolutely explosive, and the defense is going to be even better based on the moves they made this offseason.
I love Keon Coleman. I thought he was such an exciting prospect out of last year's draft. I do think he's had some great looks in the red zone in training camp, but he's still kind of struggling with drops, so he's got to get that figured out if he's going to be a reliable target for Josh Allen. Let's move over now to the former class of the division, the Patriots. On paper, they had one of the most electric off seasons with a full roster reset and a brand new coaching staff. So, Wilson, I'm going to come to you on this one. With so much youth and change in Foxborough, what's caught your attention at camp so far?
Two guys. I'll let Kyle talk about one of them. Will Campbell, the left tackle at LSU, who has short arms. I don't care, but I'll let Kyle address that. I'm going to go with Trey Henderson, their second-round pick, the running back out of Ohio State, because you talk about the young players and the new coaching staff. One of the best things you can do for a young quarterback, other than the offensive line, is get him a running back that can carry the load. Trey Henderson was part of that two-man operation at Ohio State that won the national championship along with Quinshon Judkins, and there is nothing not to love about Trey Henderson, as I use a couple double negatives there. We know he can run the ball. He is incredibly tough. He will block. He is going to have himself a place on the field on third downs because of his ability to block, but also his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. If a tight end can be a young quarterback's best friend in the middle of the field, Trey Henderson can, as well as a dump-off opportunity should read 1, read 2, read 3 not be there. So I want to see what Trey Henderson is able to do during training camp and then preseason, and what that means for that team going forward once the regular season gets underway.
Ryan, quarterback's best friend, that's the left tackle, man. That's the guy that you can't see. That's the guy that your franchise invested so much in, banged on the table for and said, I don't give a damn if he's got T-Rex arms. I've seen the film. I love what it looks like, and our guy Drake May needs all the help he can get up front. Will Campbell is who I have my eyes on for the New England Patriots. Look, this is the archetypical New England Patriot. Tough, no BS, loves the game of football, and by all accounts, his teammates love him. Mike Vrabel got a good one. Let's see if all that good stuff that I've been talking about carries over into a great career. It starts in a couple weeks. Well, preseason's here, but the real stuff starts week 1.
Kyle, we can always count on you to lead into your expertise when it comes to evaluating the big boys up front. Next, let's take a look at the Jets. They also have a fresh new offense now helmed by Justin Fields and guided by a fresh coaching staff. So, Kyle, I'm coming to you on this one. What or who has stood out to you most at camp so far? Is it Fields? Is it the O-line in front of him? Or just maybe the overall vibe with so many changes in New York?
Well, look, I love the moves that the New York Jets have made to solidify their offensive line through the draft over the last few years. And obviously, they put together a patchwork group with Aaron Rodgers, but this is a younger group. This is a group that you can count on from a physical standpoint. What needs to come along is their experience. And I think about former Penn State offensive tackle Olu Fashanu. He has been lights out from all accounts. Justin Fields, clearly the toe caught everybody off guard. The cart word was used, which is like takes your breath away, but he's back out there doing all right. I love this offense. It's going to come down to protecting Justin Fields. He's got the arm to get it downfield. He's got the legs to be able to make big-time plays. But it's Olu Fashanu, the jump from year one to year two. That's where good young players become top-of-the-league type talents.
Yeah, and Kyle actually talked about this yesterday on Pushing the Pile. Year one to year two is the biggest jump you see from these players. And the interesting thing about Olu Fashanu is this, because I'm going to talk about two people, Justin Fields, and Kyle sort of talked about the importance of what this could mean for Justin if the offensive line is where it needs to be. He's on a 2-year deal. And if this year goes well, that 2-year deal might turn into a multi-year deal beyond that. But the other player is Will Campbell IV. And I mentioned him in relation to Olu Fashanu for this reason. The Jets wanted to draft Broderick Jones. The Steelers leapfrogged him in that draft, got Broderick Jones, and you could argue the Jets settled, quotation marks, for Will McDonald IV, who had 10.5 sacks last year, 61 pressures. He is coming on, and he is a force as a pass rusher. He's added 15 pounds in terms of being able to set the edge and play the run a little better, and I think he's going to get there as well. But they have Quentin Williams, they have Jermaine Johnson, they have Sauce Gardner, they have Will McDonald IV, and by drafting him, and he's had a better career thus far than Broderick Jones, allowed them to take Olu Fashanu the next season in the draft, and then this most recent draft cycle, they got Armand Membu. So they've gotten two great offensive linemen and a great edge rusher and a new front office and a new head coaching staff and a new quarterback. This is the year, Katie. They're turning things around. The change starts here. We're getting back to those Rex Ryan, Mark Sanchez days of going to the playoffs.
You sound like a secret Gang Green fan there. And I will say, it was really scary to see Justin Fields carted off of that toe, but he's not the only one with a toe injury. It seems like a bad year to be a toe out there at NFL training camps. Lastly, fellas, we got to look at the Finns here. Now, we know this offense is loaded, but the real question in camp and really for the season is on the other side of the ball. Jalen Ramsey is gone. So, Ryan, are you concerned with how things are shaping up in their secondary, or are you looking elsewhere as someone to keep our eye on for the Finns?
Yeah, that secondary is in such a bad shape. I don't want to talk about it at all. Let's go to Kyle's position, the offensive line. I want to talk about Patrick Paul, the second-year player who is now going to have to start for Teron Armstead, who has since retired. Patrick Paul got essentially a redshirt year last year, former second-round pick out of Houston. I like him a lot coming out. But this is going to be a little bit different than playing at Houston, going up against those edge rushers, one of which I just talked about in the AFC East. He has looked good, according to reports at training camp, but we'll see what that translates to once the preseason game starts and once the regular season gets here. And if these injuries do not stop in the secondary for Miami, this offense is going to have to score 50 points a game. So Patrick Paul, fingers crossed, can get it done. It's going to be fun to watch him in year one as a starter at left tackle.
You know what, Ryan? When I think about the Miami Dolphins and what it must be like to be a fan, it's almost like being a fan of Tesla stock. You never know when something can just absolutely tank your season, as it were. And when I'm saying that, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. We never know if Tua is going to be on the field. With the history of the things that have happened to him from a physical standpoint, it's terrible, but it's the reality, and it's the cold, hard truth. What is plan B at the quarterback position for the Miami Dolphins? Look, Tua runs the offense great. The ball gets distributed effectively. They're explosive plays. They've got playmakers. Who is option 1B? And Zach Wilson is that guy. I'm anticipating being glued to my television watching the Miami Dolphins during the preseason.
Well, if I'm breaking down the division and giving some stock advice, Kyle Long and Ryan Wilson always here to give you the goods. Appreciate both of you so much. Let's take a look at the first preseason games for the division. Commanders at Patriots Friday, August 8th. Giants taking on the Bills on Saturday, August 9th. And the Jets at the Packers also on the 9th. And then on Sunday, August 10th, the Dolphins at the Bears. Let's take a look at the odds to win the AFC East. Bills, of course, heavy favorites once again to win the division. Odds makers putting them well ahead of the pack at minus 290. But what about the rest of the division? Can the Patriots, the Dolphins, or the Jets defy these odds? Well, let's figure it out here. Time now to bring in Sportsline analysts Emory Hunt, Mackenzie Brooks, not to tell us who wins the division, but actually to break down the stage of elimination for each of these teams in the AFC East this season. And guys, let's start with the Bills. They are once again expected to go deep into the postseason, but odds makers say a divisional round exit is actually the most likely outcome, as you can see here on the screen. But there's still value on a Super Bowl run or even a surprise early exit. So, Emory, when you look at this chart right here, how do you see Buffalo seasons playing out? Is this finally the year that they get over the hump, or are we headed for more January heartbreak?
I think more January heartbreak because you still have Kansas City sitting there in the playoffs. So, but Baltimore looks like one of the more complete teams in the AFC. I know we kind of can say that every year about the Ravens, at least the last 2 seasons, but this year has to be the year for Baltimore. And I do feel like we'll see them meet up in the divisional round, and I do like Baltimore to win that ball game. So I have them at plus 260, losing in that second round of playoffs.
All right, so Emory is saying that this has to be the year for Baltimore, but Kenz, you know me well. You know I can never quit on Josh Allen, and every year for them, to me, is the year. Are you on my side?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense the odds makers have the divisional round, the most likely exit. We do too in the Sportsline model, but if they make it past that, we have them winning the Super Bowl. We have them with the best chance of winning the Super Bowl at 20% here. And a lot of it does not have to do with us thinking this is the best team in the NFL. We actually have them power ranked 4th, but their odds of getting that 1 seed are so likely given the schedule they have. We all want to talk about New England's schedule. I mean, Buffalo has the 7th easiest schedule in our Sportsline model as well. So it's just this clear path to having a 1 seed that they didn't have last year, being able to play these easier games at home, these tougher games at home when it comes to the playoffs. I mean, look at the teams in the regular season they have at home. It's amazing. They have the Eagles at home, they have Tampa at home, and they have the Ravens at home. So all of these games should help their record, give them that path to the 1 seed, and then obviously when you have the 1 seed, I'm going to give you the shot to win the Super Bowl.
All right, I love to hear it. The only reason I wouldn't like that is, of course, I'm always going to root for the 49ers to win the Super Bowl, but we're not talking about them right now. So next, let's take a look at the Patriots. New England enters a full-blown rebuild here, guys. Odds makers expecting growing pains, as outlined by the odds on the screen right now. Missing the playoffs is heavily favored at minus 195, but could this revamped roster kind of sneak into the wild card mix? Kenz, you got the Bills going the distance, but how do you think see things shaking up for New England?
Very much not the distance here, Katie. Give me them to miss the playoffs. Minus 195 implies around a 66% chance. We give them a 92% chance to not make the playoffs. I'm not so high on this team. Like, we have them improving. We have them going from 4 wins to 6 wins. An 8.5 win total. Think of it this way. The odds maker set Drake May's passing touchdown line at 19.5 because that's how they predict he's going to perform. They set the win total at 8.5 because they know they can get the public to bet on this brand name and bet on the over. Their true thoughts, 19.5 and 8.5 win total do not correlate. If you were throwing 20 passing touchdowns, you are very unlikely to be getting 9-10 wins to secure a playoff spot here. So a lot of different market approaches right now with the odds makers in this team. I think they truly, obviously, don't think this is a playoff team, and I think they will improve, but to ask them to improve to maybe double-digit wins just in this year feels crazy to me.
Totally agree, because when you think about what people have spoken about the Patriots this offseason, oh, they got Stephon Diggs, Irvin Fryer, Stanley Morgan. Like, listen, they only have Stephon Diggs, right? They don't have 2 of the all-time great New England Patriot wide receivers. But at the end of the day, this is a team that's growing in the right direction. They're stronger on defense, but what people kind of sleep on is how good defensively other teams in this division is. So those games will be tougher than people expect. Also, when you zoom out and look at the rest of their schedule, they're facing some really good football teams that have improved, just like the Patriots have improved. I feel like this is more of a defense and run game type football team and less of more of an emphasis on Drake May in terms of the passing game. Yeah, you're going to see improvement from Drake May. You're going to see more efficiency from Drake May. You're going to probably see less turnovers from Drake May, but I feel like there's still a couple of receivers away from really being a well-balanced team. Right now, I have a couple of other teams that you can trust a little bit more so than New England. So that's why I have them missing the postseason, improved, but missing the postseason.
You know, Kenzie said the Sportsline model gives them a 92% chance. It almost feels like you're going to say something positive, but then no, that's to miss the playoffs. Y'all shouldn't talk to Tyler Sullivan, though, because he has this team going for 11 wins this year. So you might have to, I don't know, avoid him at all costs. Moving on to New York, the Jets odds tell the story here. Most expect Gang Green to fall short yet again. However, with Justin Fields at the helm and a revamped coaching staff, could year one of this new regime surprise us? Emory, coming to you first on this one. How can Gang Green, realistically, how far can they go? Just 1 year removed from all of that Aaron Rodgers hype.
They can go to the postseason, and I think they lose in the wild card round. What I love about the Jets this year is essentially foundational football, run game, defense, plus one at quarterback, a leader at quarterback, someone that is, it's funny, if you go back to my statements and the tweets are out there, pre-2020 draft, I said the Jets should draft Justin Fields because he has the temperament for New York. Fast forward to where we are now, they end up getting Justin Fields. Why? Because he has that temperament that wins out here in New York, along with an Aaron Glenn, along with the type of toughness that they're trying to instill into that foundational program. When you look at what they've done in the offseason, in the draft, and how they've attacked this year coming up, the Jets, to me, will be able to run the football. They will be able to play good defense. And now you have a quarterback that seems to play a little bit more calm in situational football moments. And I've always said this about Fields. When you watch him in Chicago and you watch him in Pittsburgh, you never really say they lost because of Justin Fields. So I like that he's constantly being himself, and now he has a team around him to help elevate forward. So this is a football team that I think can get to the playoffs, and I would also sprinkle some on them winning the AFC East.
Wow, Emory with the receipts from Twitter. I'd love to see it. I'm in on that. I also like a little sprinkle on the plus 850 to make it to the wild card round. Obviously, most likely outcome is they don't make the playoffs, but we give them a 15% chance to get to the wild card round, and that's a lot more optimistic than odds makers here. I think there's such a high ceiling for this team, as Emory mentioned. I mean, Justin Fields, he's never had an offensive line like this. This is probably going to be the best one he has, and this offensive line will be more experienced. They were so young last year. You had some guys hurt as well, but even just improving this run game when you were so bad last year, even just getting to league average, that gives your defense more time to rest. It gives you more time of possession. It just makes the whole team a lot better. And he is statistically a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers was last year. Better passer rating, better pass completion, better passing touchdown to interception ratio, all of those things. And he's good buddies with Garrett Wilson. So I just think the ceiling is so high for this team. We have them projected for around 7 wins, but I could see that having an upside of 9.
All right, so you both have the Jets making the playoffs, but not for long. You like Gang Green to snap the league's longest active drought, only to bow in the wild card round. Although Emory did say he's going to sprinkle. I can't justify that with more. Lastly, guys, let's look at Miami here. The Dolphins have the offensive firepower, but FanDuel odds, as we see here, suggest the path is going to be anything but smooth. Fins far more likely to miss the playoffs than win a single postseason game. Ken's, when you factor in the holes on defense, especially in that secondary, what do you make of Miami's outlook, and how deep can they realistically go?
I don't really know what to make of their outlook, Katie, honestly. Like, there's so many unknowns in the secondary, a completely new secondary we're looking at. And I don't even know if that's a good thing, because their defense played pretty well down the stretch given the circumstances here. So I hate to bet on injury, but we are literally 1 hit away from this being a lock to miss the playoffs. So not a team I'm really interested in touching in general. It's very hard to believe this team stays entirely healthy to make it to the postseason. So I'm out on Miami.
They'll have a puncher's chance offensively, but defensively, can they stop the pass? That's going to be the biggest question for the Dolphins. I have them missing the postseason as well.
Yeah, Ryan Wilson said they need to score 50 points a game. Emory and Ken's, appreciate y'all. This was fun. If you want more from our cappers, make sure that you check out the Early Edge. Scan the QR code on your screen to listen to your daily sports betting kickoff with the crew on Sportsline.